Hello and welcome back to 94.5 from 8 to 21. I'm your host, Felix Vogel.
And I'm Nikhil Singhani.
And today we're discussing whether load management should be legal within the NBA.
Now, I understand that James Harden has many shenanigans, but in his time in Houston, he may have missed around 5 to 10 games a season. Yet, when he went to Brooklyn, he seemed to get injured almost every game that he played. Now, is this because of load management, or maybe it's because he was younger? But this sort of proves that load management may actually get you more injured because your muscles and tendons can get really stiff without playing. For example, nowadays, like Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, they skip 5 games at a time, and whenever they come back, it seems like within 2 or 3 games, they just get injured immediately.
Well, I mean, you're making some good points, but at the same time, you're bringing up, though you acknowledge his shenanigans, James Harden is not someone you want to bring up in debate. Anyways, why I'm pro load management is because NBA is such a wearing and tearing sport. Obviously, I know the difference in football, but we're playing 82 games, high intensity, not a lot of breaks. And in my opinion, the load management keeps the players much more quality, so you can see them a lot more. They're at their finest. It's all about preserving them and making sure they're doing their best every game. And also think about playing, take Ja Morant, for example, who isn't on a good team, but it's a young star and he's expected to play a lot. He's playing 40 minutes a game, 82 games in a row, and he shouldn't be allowed to break. That could be terrible for you.
All right, but what I'm saying is that there were plenty of high flyers in the 90s who still survived while playing tons and tons of basketball.
But they got injured, they just didn't say it because it was the 90s.
For example, Michael Jordan, he played almost every single game. He didn't even get injured. And even in 1997, 1998, he was still fresh and he could still dunk over Dikembe Mutombo. And
he wasn't fresh though. Did you hear against him in the Bad Boy Pistons era? He was not fresh. He was wearing.
The reason why I think that they should have to tough through it is that these fans pay a lot of money in order to see them play. For example, they might save up a week's worth of pay just to go to one game.
I mean, I understand that though, but let's say, how about take this point?
Do you really want to say that?
Take this point, okay? So basically, if you don't load manage, you're playing all 82 games and you get injured. Game, let's say 30, when you're starting to get wear and tear, you land the wrong way and you're injured. Because you didn't load manage, maybe that went from a sprain to a break. And so maybe now you're out for 20 games rather than 2. So not having load management would actually make you miss more games than if you did have load management, in my opinion. I know it counters with what James Harden is doing, but he's just...
The thing is, I'm not talking about James Harden's mind, it's just James Harden's body, which is actually
a fat suit.
No, it's actually worth talking about though. And seriously though, in the 90s, I don't think that many players really got massively injured. For example,
no one gets massively injured today though.
Yes, they do. Okay, but the thing is, should you really be sitting out with a little pinky jam or a little sore back? Are you really gonna make that
ACL tear, which probably happened all the time because the fouls were less called, and since there was less fouls called, there was less injuries.
Okay, but these people that are sitting out because of this, they're making people who go to these games who just want to see a few players sad because they see these bench scrubs because even the third best player on the team who's making $20 million doesn't feel like playing on a random
Monday. I get basketball's a franchise and I get it's for the fans, and I know sadly the whole point of it is just to make money, and I know good players make money, but good players also keep themselves nice and preserved, because if you play Curry, okay, let's say load management was never legal. Let's go into that hypothetical, okay? Okay, Stephen Curry, on his 13th year now? I'm totally tripping, just probably around 13th, okay? He is on the 13th year, he probably would be sitting out at least 2 more seasons that he already has, because maybe that ankle injury would have never been fixed, It's just gives you less time to make sure you're nice and healthy when you don't have load management. Also, do you have any other points?
Well, what I'm saying is that I get that you may have to skip a few games. I feel like if you have an injury, you should sit out. But some of these players are sitting out in order to reduce injuries, not that they're actually injured. They're completely fresh. They're just skipping games.
Andre Iguodala or something like that?
Yes.
Okay, well, I get that. Andre Iguodala is a bad example because he's a player coach. He's just a really rich coach, essentially.
True.
But yeah. Okay, well, thank you for listening to PTI. Load management, what do you think? Should it be okay? Should it be not okay? I'm your host, Felix Vogel.
It's not okay.